Call this meeting to order.
Mr. Grand President.
Mr. Grand President.
Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Good morning.
Oh, wait, we'll try this one more time. Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Good morning.
May peace be with you and God blessing us as we do our work for this day. As we have been called to order by our chairman, it is with great pleasure that we have an opening traditionally with our business, and I would like to have the Grand Sergeant at Arms escort Reverend Alan Buck forward, who will give our invocation. Reverend Buck is from the Wilshire United Methodist Native American Fellowship. We greet him with open Christian arms and love.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to present this to you and your group. I feel so honored to be here with you all. Thank you.
On behalf of the Alaska Native Brotherhood and the Sisterhood, this honor of sage being presented to us is from the spiritual heart, where we live 24 hours a day interacting with God's love and spirit. And thank you for allowing us to share this spiritual moment with you, Reverend.
Thank you. Again, I'm so very honored to be here with you all. I don't always get this feather out. It's very special to me. It's the first eagle feather that I found. You all in Alaska probably find them all the time. But I'm from Oklahoma, Cherokee Nation, and we don't find so many. But I was in Alaska in 1991, and I found 2 feathers there. And I've kept them close to my heart since then. I believe that they have called me, I feel today, almost like full circle back to the Alaskans. And again, I'm just so pleased to be here. I know a little bit about you all. My friend Ed told me that you were the first civil rights organization, and that makes me so proud. I'm always grateful, especially when Native leaders, indigenous people stand up, take the lead, share their wisdom, because it's so necessary and so often goes unheard. Let's pray together. Creator, Great Spirit, we open our hearts to you, and we're grateful. Our cups overflow, and we sense you moving among us, speaking to us. God, in the air that we breathe, in the cosmos that surrounds us, in our brothers and sisters, and we pray through each other today that you would continue to reveal yourself to us. Speak to us, God, in fresh and new ways, challenging us to find courage and strength and resources to continue to be that prophetic witness in the world, and to continue to become your people, the ones you would have us be. Fill us with your Spirit, that we might set a good example and be on a good path and share love and your good news wherever we go. Pray, God, for this conference, that you would bless it, and everyone who comes in contact with the brotherhood, the sisterhood, our people, your children. Aho. Again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great conference. Very nice to meet you. Blessings. Have a great conference. It's my family name.
I'll just say
On such a glorious beginning, who else can resist us? No one with his power. We're so blessed to have the Reverend with us, and thank you very much for pointing that spiritual, steadfast love that binds us together. As Grand President of the Alaska Native Brotherhood, we have our opening ceremonies, and I'll turn this over to the program chairman.
I think it's about time we get our blood flowing. It's time for our battle song. I would call forward Sister Mary Guthrie. Anybody else that would like to drum? And for those of you who are new, the third verse is sung by the ladies. So, anybody with a drum that wants to come forward?
the drummers to come forward. I heard this over the past couple of days, and we don't like the word subsistence, and because it's not who we are. We're not just subsistence. Our people say hakusitiyi. That means how we feed our babies, how we gather our food, how we do anything. Hakusitiyi, and you don't have to say anything else. That's what we mean. Us. Ha. Kusitiyi. Hakusitiyi. So now we don't have to say subsistence anymore. Even if you just say, how do you do it? It means hakusitiyi. Okay, so we have a skimpy drum set. For your information, we have the bass. Bass. Then we have the double. We have the triple.
Now we will all sing, oh, what.
Absolutely. Here's some water for you.
There we go. Good morning. Good morning. At this time, we'd have call forward for the credentials report. Sister Selena.
Brothers and sisters, I just want to say it's moments like this that we cherish. Brothers and sisters, united in God, trusting each other, having faith in each other, demonstrated by your presence here. Good night, Trish. I'll be leaving you guys tomorrow morning, and my heart will still be here.
Just announce that.
And this will be the final credentials report.
I'm not sure it's final. We still may receive Willard Jackson and the possibility of Heather Powell. However, yesterday's credential numbers are unchanged. We are still at 51 delegates. And that is it for the credentials report. Thank you.
Motion approved.
Yes, just state your name and camp. Just-
Beverly Russell, Camp 70. Carol. Charlie.
A good one. Yeah, another one for it.
I just want water.
Beverly.
Beverly Russell, Camp 70, A&M. Yesterday, when you gave the credential report, I didn't get to write down all of the information. Would you mind breaking out the A&B and ANS members between the local camps executives and alternates, please? Thank you.
Okay, to repeat, we have 23 A and B delegates and 28 ANS delegates for the total of 51. There are 8 A and B camps and 8 ANS camps here. Do you want a breakdown of the grant officers?
Yes, please.
Okay. We have for grant officers 4 A and B and 4 ANS. For past grant presidents, we have we have 1 A and B and 6 ANS. Oh, pardon me, 2 A and B. And we can't double count Sasha. Okay. And what else did you want, Deb?
Alternates, if you have.
We have 9 alternates, and no, I don't have those divided by A and B and ANS. And yesterday it was decided to include the 3 junior candidates that we have from Camp 70, Camp 49, and Camp 2. All right, you're welcome.
Motion approved.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
I hear that we're being called past grand presidents. And in 1982, when I first started coming to convention, just the brothers were seated up here as, and they called themselves executive committeemen. And when they seated our sisters, and it was a big pompous affair in Sitka, they called them the Alaska Native Sisterhood Executive Committee Women. And that was on the face of the resolution that the brothers put forward to seat the Alaska Native Sisterhood past grand presidents as Alaska Native Sisterhood Executive Committee Woman. And I have no notice of us changing that. And we still want to be called Executive Committee Woman and Executive Committeemen. And it doesn't, we're not fighting with anybody, and we're not changing rules. But our grandparents did this, and I don't really want to change what they did like this. It's for no reason. So thank you. I would move and ask unanimous consent that when the executive committee is spoken of, we are called executive committee men and women. Thank you.
Hearing no objection, so moved. I would like a motion to accept the credentials report.
ANS Camp 2, Rhonda Butler.
This is the final report.
I make a motion to accept the credentials report.
Final.
Rhonda Butler, ANS Camp 2. Please include final credentials report.
We're waiting for 2 more minutes.
Remove final. Just list it as credentials report, please.
Yes, Sister Alexander.
Alexander, Sitka, Camp 4, I second.
Questions? Questions been called for? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. At this time, we would have the roll call.
In the absence of our A and B grant secretary, unless Mr. Morrison is willing to do this, have we appointed anybody as a secretary pro tem?
No, please proceed.
All right, then as ANS grant secretary, I will do the roll call. Sasha Sobolev.
Present.
Cecilia Tavalero.
Hade.
Ross Nanook III.
Here.
Paulette Moreno.
Hade.
Carol Lewis, Yadahat. James Lanos Sr. Cynthia Lanos. Charles Stroley. Executive Committee men and women, Richard Jackson.
Here.
Mary Jones. Janice Jackson.
Here.
Frida Westman.
Here.
Millie Schoonover.
Here.
Mary Brown.
Here.
Selena Everson.
Here.
Mary Guthrie. Camp 1 A and B, George Chappelle.
Here. Excuse me.
Yes.
Call my name.
I apologize. We need to add Eric Morrison to that. He both.
Have to be present.
Yes, there were 2 people who registered later, and I did not get you included in this list. I shall add you. Harriet Belleal.
Here.
Spike Arnold. Camp 1 ANS Wrangell. April Einert. And Sandy Churchill.
Present.
What?
Harvey Kitka is also seated with A and B Camp 1.
I was just informed that Harvey Kitka is also seated with A and B Camp 1 from Sitka.
Ready?
Okay, excuse a little page flipping here. Camp 2 ANS, Rhonda Butler
Present.
and Chilton.
Excused, she's not feeling well.
Helen Feller.
Present.
Okay, Camp 4 ANS, Sitka, Jean Arnold, Pat Alexander, Rachel Henderson. And thank you to the 2 alternates, Nina Vizcarando and Debbie Brensfield, but they are not, of course, voting members. Camp 5 Haynes A and B, Thomas Williams Jr. Petersburg, Camp 16 A and B, Joseph Stewart. Petersburg, Camp 16 ANS, Barbara Erickson. And apologies to Ketchikan, Camp 14, which numerically comes first. Camp 14, Ketchikan A and B. We have Jim Lanos Jr.
Here.
Kevin Gadsey. And Madison Cheney.
Medicine Win, here.
Thank you. And Camp 14, Ketchikan ANS. Vicki Fouts. And Laverne John.
Here.
And LaDonna Cheney. Okay, 14, 16. Craig ANS, Camp 19, Adeline DeCastro,
Here.
Kelsey Shakely.
Here.
Okay. Camp 36 ANS, Daphne Albee,
Here.
Jake Kabog Sr.
Here rides this afternoon.
Okay. And okay. Camp 49 A and B, Heather Gerko, Jill Sheridan Erickson,
Here.
Michaela Taylor.
Here.
And we also have alternates Corin Atchison, Tamsin Nguyen, and Renee Perry.
They're both here. They're here. They're working in the weather.
Thank you. That's what our alternates are supposed to do. Okay. And Camp 70 A and B, Marcelo Quinto.
Here.
And Paul Moran, Peter Narrows.
Here.
Camp 70 ANS, Ann Fuller.
Excuse me, Carol.
Excuse me?
It's Paul Young, not Paul Moran.
Paul Young. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, I had the number in the wrong place. I understand that your secretary is Paul Moran, but he's not on delegate, okay. And Camp 70 ANS, Ann Fuller.
Here.
Bev Russell. And June Degnan, with alternate Kevin Allen. Camp 76 A and B, Walter Sobolev.
Here.
Camp 87 A and B, Marvin Adams.
Here.
Paul Johnson. Richard Porter. Okay. Is there anyone that I have missed? Yes, sir.
Ms. Holmes went to Camp 70. Our alternate is Janet Trey.
Okay, yes, I do have her on the list here. I'm sorry that I did not read her name. We have 2 columns, one for delegates and one for alternates. Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Westerman.
I noticed that from Ketchikan, Vicki Fouts maybe stated
Vicki Fouts, Camp 14, Alaska Native Brotherhood, not Sisterhood. Thank you.
My apologies. Are there any other corrections? Ms. Butler.
Madam Grant Secretary, I believe at this time I would need to request that our alternate be seated in place of Ann Chilton. We have our alternate, Dana Duncan, so at this time I would like to request that our alternate be seated.
There's no objection, so we're.
Finish, Chief.
And thank you all for your patience.
Still affect your final count, right? What? It does affect 51. So you had.
No, I mean, one candidate being, one delegate being switched for an alternate. No, there is still 51.
Okay. Do we have any announcements? Would be time for the committees to announce if they're still further discussing the resolutions. Are we good? Marvin Adams, Anchorage.
Yeah, move the mic to, I'm sorry, excuse me, we were trying to find the number, there was no number on the resolution, but it was to. Could you identify yourself for the record? Marcelo Quinto, Camp 70, and this, there was no number on the resolution for supporting Camp, the 13th Regional Corporation, and we were still in, it is still in discussion. There was no pass or do not pass on that yet, so we still need to get together with that one. But the rest of the ones that went to the state and federal have all been submitted back.
Okay, I can ask the committee to announce when they're going to meet, so you can deal with this. When we get the break, we'll make announcements again about what committees will meet.
Right, thank you very much. Yeah, we're just trying to way to get it rewritten, and then we'll go back to it.
Thank you. Also, we have a resolution that was in the resolution committee that was presented that probably needs to go to the Veterans Committee. We do not have our Veterans Committee it's a standing committee, but we didn't announce it. So we'll announce when we're going to meet. I just want to let the veterans know there's one resolution. Thank you. We have approval of the, Ms. Russell, identify your camp.
Beverly Russell, Camp, A&S Camp 70. The Health and Education Committee met, and we did work on all 4 resolutions, so we don't need to meet again.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on, we have approval of the minutes of Thursday, October 5th. They are being copied as we speak, so they'll be distributed, and we will schedule this later as appropriate.
Next on the agenda, we have resolution committee meetings in the main conference room, which they met last night. Marvin Adams from Camp 70, resolution committee met last night, right? We went through 10 resolutions. I'll let him respond to this.
I'm sorry, I was concentrating on organizing. What was the question?
On the agenda, we have resolution committee meetings in main conference room. This addresses the resolution committee. So you met yesterday.
Correct. We went down and presented and assigned all the committee resolutions to the specific committees. So they picked up some of them met this morning, and everything seems to be on track. So.
Okay, and just for the record, were distributed to the committee.
Correct. All the resolutions are distributed to the committees. There was a listing on the board back here of who the program or committee chairs were.
A question to the resolution committee: have all the delegates received these resolutions?
No, we were going to wait until all the resolutions were approved by the committees, then we were going to print them off for distribution.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure the delegates know the process.
Mr. Chair.
Executive Member A and B, Eric Morrison has a question.
Yeah, if we could have the resolutions chair assign numbers, because we received the resolutions, still didn't have a number attached to them, so we could have that. And my resolutions are getting typed up as well, so they'll be ready for presentation. So before we get those resolutions out, please assign them numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Marvin Adams? Anchorage?
Marvin Adams, Camp 87, Resolutions Chair. Mr. Program Chair, we did not get numbers on those resolutions when they're distributed to us. So I understand that the secretaries would be assigning those resolutions for Grand Camp. So we're at their disposal. So it's going to be on their secretaries, their president's going to be signing them, so they'll be assigning, as I understand, the numbers.
Thank you. The secretary does not indicate she's not going to do that, so that will be her task. Anyone else? Beverly Russell?
Yes, Beverly Russell, ANS Camp 70. I have another question. So we made suggested changes for the 4 resolutions that we reviewed. Do we give these changes to the boiler room to edit them before they come out on the floor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any amendments to the resolutions will be done in committee, presented, and they'll be further amended if it's indicated by the body. Anyone else? Thank you, then.
Point of information. Mr. Adams, I will need copies of all the resolutions that you have before I can assign numbers to them. And secondly, orders of the day. I trust that we will be continuing what was left off of yesterday's agenda today. Hopefully that's a rhetorical question.
No, it isn't. We have some items we didn't finish yesterday, but we had to get to this point so we were clear on the process. So, going back to yesterday, we had indicated that the item that was dealing with highlights from those local ANS camps were in the minutes. But at this time, we would open the floor for the local camps to Marvin Adams, Camp 70.
Sorry, Mr. Program Chair, I'm just responding to the ANS Secretary. I believe she has the list of those resolutions because I did get them from her. So, Carol, you're going to have to number them. We got them from you, so if you could just number them, we'll put them on when we edit them and set them in.
Resolution committee chair and the secretary get together on a numbering. Now on the floor is highlights from local A&B and ANS camps. Are there any camps that wish to discuss their local activities? Please raise your hand. I'll go in order, else I'll ask Camp 70 A&Bs, raise your hand first to respond. The next one down the line in the back, and it will come forward. More for me to see you. So, Camp 70.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm really happy that we're able to do this because it really does, I want people to know that
you know, in Juneau, we're working very hard to keep our camp alive. And I think the first thing I want to say to the people here is the reason why Juneau is really successful, because we do have our sisters behind us. They're alongside of us, really. You know, they do a great deal of work, and I want to say thank you to my sisters here publicly in front of the rest of the people that the activities and the things that we do are because we are all working together. And I would like to go down with the list with us. Let's see our Bev, I would like you to come here and stand with me, because I believe that this is not just a report for the brothers, but it's a report from the brothers and sisters. Without them, we don't really have a whole lot to show you. But one of the things we try to do here as the brothers that are separate from the sisters, we do have a scholarship that we present every year to 3 students. And they're not really big, but we don't have any ties to them. They're $500 a piece that we provide to 3 students. We send that directly to the students. They don't have to go to the school. I think that, to me, that's one of the biggest things that our camps have been really seriously involved in, is that the education for our young people is very important to us. We also, as the brothers and sisters, provide the, we put out $1,000 from each camp, so the sisters and the brothers, to the Healing Hand Foundation, which we also feel very important, because it's important that our young people are fed so that they're not, you know, they can learn a lot better. I think that the other thing is that I want to let people know is that we are really truly advocates. You know, we do spend time with the school board, we spend time with the city officials, and we spend time with our legislators, trying to encourage our positions in the different areas. That's important to us, and it's certainly one that I think that the brothers and sisters around the southeast area, if we can be of help, that is certainly one of the things that we'd like to be able to provide to our people. In order to do this, we have to be able to have and raise the funds. We have to be able to raise my hearing aid, sorry. Yeah, in order for us to be able to do this, we have to raise the kind of funds to do it, because we do not only provide the education, but we support the Healing Hand Foundation with the search. You know, we have provided lunches. We have supported the Forest Service in their endeavor to raise the totem pole. Camp 70s people have gotten out there to help cook for them and you know, assist them where we can. I think I will let our sister here kind of provide a little more of the activities, because we seem to be staying pretty busy all year round.
Thank you. We do have a round of activities, and we listed it in the camp report. The part I wanted to highlight was something new this year, was a newsletter. We had a sister step forward. She created a template for us with announcements and a space for pictures and a couple of paragraphs. We've gotten it out every month. We send it out electronically, which keeps the cost down. And there's one of those included in our camp report. I'd be happy to send it also to any camps. I think it's something that we've found is a good framework for us. We're not reinventing it every month. And if you go and look at our newsletters, you'll see pretty pictures of Marcelo. Thank you.
Thank you. Good A and B
ANS Camp 70. What wonderful work you're doing, and what a wonderful convention that you held for us last year. So thank you, Camp 70. Good work.
Raise your hand on the next one, on the back.
Okay. Anchorage A and B Camp 87. Do you have a local camp report you'd like to share?
Marvin Adams, Camp 87. We've a couple issues we've worked on up in Anchorage. One of them obviously is the homeless. We worked heavily on helping the homeless, not only for Anchorage, but actually for rural Alaska. We've been heavily involved with World Cap and trying to help our people get off the street. As you know, it's critical for them, life and death in many cases, and especially with mothers with children that have no place to stay, that are living in their cars. So we're really working hard with World Cap and moving that forward. A&B also worked heavily on candidates forums, where we hosted candidates forums in Anchorage. As you know, we're considered the largest village in Alaska. So we've engaged with the Anchorage Assembly. We've engaged with the school board, addressing the dropout issues and the problems that we're having. There's a 50% dropout issue in Alaska and in Anchorage specifically. We're really putting a lot of pressure on the school districts, and been very successful in recognition. A lot of the school board candidates all come to our debates. We're really excited about that. They recognize that it's an important factor. So I'm pleased to report we've been very productive and active and engaging. So thank you. Thanks, Sheesh.
Good. Thank you for your good work, Anchorage Camp 87, and please give our regards to ANS
Camp 87 too. It's important the work that you're doing with the people that are in the city of Anchorage. Many of our people are there, and we appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. If I could please call on A and B Tenakee Springs. Brother Soboloff, do you have a report?
Walter Soboleff, Junior, Camp 76, Tenakee. Walter Soboleff, Junior, Camp 76, Tenakee. We have very, very, very limited membership. Like my older brother, my younger brother, my sister. We're trying to drum up more members in Tenakee, and we make regular donations to the bathhouse, which is a big thing in Tenakee. That's all there is of the bathhouse. We're doing the good fight.
Well, thank you. That's very important. You may be few in numbers, but the names that are attached are powerful and strong. So thank you very much. If I could now call on Juneau, ANS Camp 2.
Rhonda Butler, ANS Camp 2 President. And I requested that our junior ANS stand with me today during our report. And I'm going to make her ask her. I won't make her do anything. We brought a couple of our newspapers also. She's going to walk around and share that with the other local camps. We're really proud of the work that we've been doing in Juneau, and one of them was during our Elizabeth Pradovich Day. Being in Juneau, we alternate years with ANS and A&B Camp 70, and A and B and A&S Camp 2. So we alternate the years hosting that wonderful event, and it's great collaborative work. And even though if we're not hosting that year, we help volunteer in any way possible, and Camp 70 is the host and hostess. So it's really great teamwork, so we can make sure to celebrate in Juneau Elizabeth Pradovich Day and honor her with the dignity and love that we have for her. And this year, go ahead and you can take those around. This year, here you go, here's the other one. This year, Sister Elena did some of the first presentations and public speaking that she has had the opportunity with our A&S camp. She is our recording secretary also. So she has been doing a phenomenal job, and one of our main focus, like it was said earlier by Alyssa London, she had made that statement of knowing who you are. And that has kind of been one of our focuses with A&S Camp 2, knowing who we are and where we want to go with our camp and how to go about it. And we've really tried to shift our focus onto building up our youth and incorporating our youth membership and teaching them at this pivotal point in their life, the preteens and the high school years, of the orders of procedures and policies. And so we do our Robert's Rules of Order tidbits at every single one of our meetings. We've had successful meetings monthly and successful fundraising throughout the year. And also, in addition to focusing on our youth, we've had to turn and try to put forth some effort towards some of the unfortunate things that are occurring in Juneau. Is one of the biggest endeavors that we're handling right now is the opioid epidemic and the homelessness. And one of the ways our camp decided to try to tackle that was to join, it's called the Family Promise. We chose to coincide with one of the local churches and adopt a family, a homeless family. And that church brings in a homeless family, and they keep them in that church, and they provide meals for them every day until they are successfully placed into a home. And so our camp too has donated breakfast with that church for the camp. And successfully we have placed helped place two families into a permanent residence. So we're very, very proud of that. And we've just been working really hard and diligently and focusing on our juniors and trying to handle our endeavors that we've been having in Juneau with our homeless. And so I know there's bigger issues. We have a great legislative committee, and we have a pivotal work positioned quite well being in Juneau, the capital. So our legislative committee goes up on the hill, and this year HB, oh my, I don't have that in front of me, 9, HB 9, Indigenous.
No, it's official now.
It's official now.
Monday
So
is 9.
it's HB 9, yeah, HB 9, Camp 70, and many other different entities, and also Camp 2 have gone up on the hill and made testimony and things in support of the now official Indigenous Peoples' Day on October 9th. And when we get home on the 9th, we're all going to, well, on the 8th and 9th, we're all going to be going, hit the ground running and go to a big celebration on the 9th in Juneau. There's going to be a march, there's going to be speeches out at the UAS, and then we're gonna meet up back at the Elizabeth Pratovich Hall and hoo-ha. So, finish Chish, Hawa, Dakshin.
Finish. Thank you, Ines. Yes, the chair recognizes Executive Committee Woman, Mary Guthrie.
I would like to request that the reporters for their camps come up front and face the delegates as they give their reports, because if you're reporting, we should be reporting to our precious delegates. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Committee Woman, Mary Guthrie. The chair recognizes Rhonda.
And who do we hand our reports and minutes overs to? Secretary?
I believe to the secretary.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mary.
this goes to
This goes to the Credentials Committee, and in enrollments, gifts, and enrollments, gifts, and grants. Under that, they pick the report of the convention. And I like to see that being brought back, because that was our brother Walter Sobolov's fun thing to do. Looks like it's Marvin's. Thank you.
Ashish, thank you. So I would like to respond to ANS General Camp
2. You are doing very good leadership. You are covering all areas with the youth, with the elders, the community that you live in, the city, and we are in the legislation. Thank you so much. We know how hard it is to work on a local camp level, but I would like to say to your young lady that we are so proud of you. You are a bright, shining star. Keep going forward. You'll just get brighter every day. And I'd like to accept the request of Executive Committee Woman Mary Guthrie. So if our next camp, ANS Ketchikan, could you please be escorted forward and face the delegates? Thank you. Our gentlemen of our ANS, Grand Sergeant of Arms.
Venison Winchini, Ketchikan, Camp 14. We're going to combine A and B and ANS together. The accomplishments for 2016-2017. Awarded scholarships to 8 students totaling $7,600 in October 2006 and May 2017. Created a new 501c3 scholarship organization and donated over $30,000 to get it started, and paid $518 each month in donations since the start of the organization. Hosted grand presidents, treasurers, and emeritus for meetings 6 times in Ketchikan. Camp 14 paid the presidents to come to the EP Elizabeth Pratovich Day events. Participated in planning and renaming of the U.S. Forest Service Southeast Discovery Center Theater to Elizabeth Pratovich Theater. We did the Elizabeth Pratovich Day celebrations with a car parade, children's school party for the students, and hosted a party on Elizabeth Pratovich Day at the U.S. Forest Service Southeast Discovery Center. We participated in meet and greet tours each Thursday at the U.S. Forest Service Center, Discovery Center, to promote A&B ANS while covering topics such as Devil's Club and other herbs, subsistence, native culture, and the importance of water in our environment. We also spoke of basket weaving, cedar, and native designs and carving. We participated at the 50th anniversary of the Ketchikan Museum. We participated and inspected the Totem Heritage Center artifacts in Ketchikan. We provided catering to the Ketchikan Indian Corporation for their health clinic meetings, last year's annual meeting, and a special constitutional election meeting. We provided catering for the Sea Alaska community meeting. We did fundraisers monthly, as well as special fundraising for the 4th of July and the Blueberry Festival. We had 23 regular meetings and 27 committee meetings throughout the year. We fed the homeless in Ketchikan for 2 weeks. We participated in Dr. Walter Sobola Day celebration with the joint assistance of Ketchikan Indian Community. We prepared and served Veterans Day free meal for all veterans and spouses. We maintained our Camp 14 website with an average of 27 visits a day, maintained our Camp 14 Facebook website. We helped Camp 15 with installation of officers. We reviewed the local Camp 14 constitution and bylaws to assure compliance with the new Grand Camp A&B and ANS constitution and bylaws. We worked with the U.S. Forest Service on the missing MOU and review. We held 4 planning committees to schedule and plan camp activities throughout the year. We worked with KIC on proposed hooligan regulation changes. We worked with individuals in Metlakatla and Heidelberg to try to reestablish their camps. We participated in the Choose Respect rally. We worked with Wrangell ANS to discuss options in normalizing the Wrangell camp local complications. We provided free meals to mothers on Mother's Day. We provided free meals to fathers on Father's Day. We appointed Mary Jones as our camp mother this year. We met with KIC. We met with KIC on complications on their leasing out the 429 Deer Mount building and property. We submitted resolutions to the host 2018 convention in mid-October. We did the catering for Medicine Wind Cheney and family for their mother's potlatch. We facilitated the return of Grand Camp banner and several artifacts discovered in Klowak to Sasha Sobolov, who put them in the items in Grand Camp storage. We filed and updated IRS and state licensing documentations for ANS, A&B Camp 14 and Camp 14 Scholarship Organizations, 501c3. We held the 7th honoring life member of Camp 14 dinner and party in December 16th. We held a special going away lunch for Mary Jones, who is leaving to relocate in Anchorage. We supported the traditional fall gathering efforts. We supported the Ketchikan land list with free meeting places. Received the native theme panels from the estate of John and Judy Stefford. We participated in the student car totem poles for Shomfar School. We participated in the 1 Billion Rising March. We've participated in the election of Margaret Stock. We supported the Climate Change Forum. We participated in the Southeast Environment Conference in Ketchikan. We participated with the Alaska Mental Health Board, Advisory Board on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse in public meetings. And we participated in the U.S. Forest Service and public showing of the Salmon Forest video.
Wow, it has changed. Good work. Carry on. If we could please have ANS Camp 1 Wrangell escort it forward.
I have something to say.
Yes. The chair recognizes Richard.
They say when you're involved with any organization, whether it's the Alaska Native Brotherhood or Sisterhood, the Veterans or Rotary, whatever, you're there long enough, you say, if I stay here long enough, they will come. I say that to Medicine Wind. He went through a very difficult time, yet he stayed with Ketchikan. He is eager, as his wife is, sitting right beside him. we in Ketchikan are very proud of the youth that are coming forward to take their place. When we go to our meetings, you can look at his family on the wall that are lifetime members. We keep an active lifetime membership photo of all those, which includes our Grand President Emeritus and Harmut. And it goes way back to the early days with George Keegan, Joe Johnson, who filed for land claims for Ketchikan way back in the 20s. So when we meet here and we hear these kind of reports, and I'm just uplifting my hometown, Ketchikan, because I'm so used to being involved with Ketchikan. I just got off the tribal council, and we cooperated with the A&B, and the fact that the land that they are on was a school, PIA school, when there was segregation, and they gave it to the A&B. And Ketchikan Indian community now built the building, but they have to pay rent to the A&B. So they get a monthly check every month, but they fundraise. They fundraise all the time, and I see them always moving, like you've heard in this report, staying busy. We try to keep them encouraged, and they're responding. So thank you very much for that great report.
Thank you. Thank you. ANS, Kaplan Rangel.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time doing this. My name is April Einert, Camp 1 Wrangell. Since last convention, we've met every month and made ourselves more visible in the community by holding craft nights each Tuesday evening in the new Cultural Center. The last Tuesday of every month is when we hold our meetings. We follow that with the sewing group and snacks. This forum has brought new members and more outreach. In November, we held our nomination of officers. In December, we held our Christmas party at the Nolan Center with the Brotherhood, Tribal Office, and local Teenage Community Council. ANS purchased the hams, and A&B bought oranges and candies for the kids. In January, we swore in new officers, outgoing President Sandy Churchill, new President myself, Vice President Sandy Churchill, Secretary Donna Kuntz, Treasurer Lou Knapp, Sergeant Arden Virginia Oliver. We swore in new members, Lovey Berge and her granddaughter Christina Taylor. In February, we participated in the Elizabeth Pradovich Day. We had assembly in the public schools in Wrangell. We held a 50-50 raffle. We gifted Sandy $100 for getting Teacher of the Year award, Head Start. We swore in new member Pam Stover. In March, we attended open house and played bingo with the clients of the new Harbor House Assisted Living Center. We donated gifts for bingo prizes. In April, we bought 20 drum kits for the Head Start program and provided snacks for the parents' activity of putting the drums together with their children. In May, we held a joint scholarship committee meeting with A&B and chose 3 students to be awarded $500 each for the college of their choice. Myself, Lou, and Sandy attended the award ceremony at the high school and handed out the scholarships. We lost a member, Charlotte Neff. We helped the family by visiting, and called upon ANS ladies for food donations. We bought a large deli tray for the celebration of life recognition. We also donated finger foods, punch and paper goods, to Head Start graduation, where we recognized for Grandparents' Day. In June, we donated food for the celebration of life of the Kuntz family for brothers Ed and Joe. We applied for our own charter of incorporation and new EIN number to separate ourselves from the ANSA group that formed as a branch off from ANS. We also applied for our own 501c3 and let ANSA keep the old numbers. In July, we provided food for the celebration life of Christopher Feller and helped with the reception. We brought in a new member, Nicole Taylor. She's a graphic designer, so we're hoping that she can help us get more step out to the community that way. In August, we nominated myself and Sandy to attend Grand Camp. We discussed getting a new ANS hall and considered making it into a resolution. Sandy spoke with Plinkett Hyder Regional Housing Authority, and they said it was time for Wrangell to do a big project and might as well get the ball rolling now. We sponsored an open house at Head Start and provided healthy snacks served to the new families. In September, we had a retreat at Middle Ridge, a nice lunch and time for the organization. Janice Churchill donated the hooligan for the traditional foods dinner this evening. Donna Coots donated a hand-painted raven wall hanging. Sandy Churchill donated her award-winning jelly and a cedar beret that she wove. For October, for this month, we sponsored a Choose Respect rally that is actually happening today, so our ladies at home are there. And tomorrow, our ladies will be selling fried bread and cocoa at the Halloween Pumpkin Patch, the downtown pavilion, plus raffling off a paddle to help pay for our spending. We look forward to another busy year of fundraising and charitable outreach to the community.
Good, sheesh. Good job. A&B, Camp 1.
Thank you. We have the highlights of the A&B Camp 1 2016 and 2017 activities. For Thanksgiving community, we had a community-wide dinner. A&B co-hosted this event with the local Alaska Native Sisterhood Camp 4. There were approximately 200 to 300 people in attendance. We also delivered take-home dinners to those community members who were unable to attend. And we had many volunteers from the whole community. These events became community-wide. By that I mean everyone in Sitka participated, everyone came and helped us out, and the sisterhood really did a lot of work there. For the Christmas dinner and party, this was another community-wide event and was well attended. There were many donations made by our local stores, and Carrie McLean, an A&B member, volunteered to chair it along with the sisterhood. And also Karen Lucas. Again, there were 200 or 300 people in attendance. In January, we held the installation of A&B Camp 1 and ANS Camp 4. Newly elected officers. A&B Grand President Sasha Zoboloff came from Juneau to install the officers. A reception followed. In February, Elizabeth Pradgett's celebration occurred on February 16th at the Hall. She was a Grand President of the Alaska Native Sisterhood, and her husband was a Grand President of the A&B back in 1945 when the Anti-Discrimination Act was passed. February 16th is Elizabeth's birthday, and this date is now a state holiday. We had a parade and a dinner at the hall in her honor. A&B and ANS held town meetings for the general public for public testimonies on the possible merger of the Search Hospital and the Sitka Community Hospital. This issue was ongoing. Last convention, Camp 1 and 4 wrote the resolution on this issue, and it was adopted at the A&B ANS Grand Camp Convention. I'm glad to say that At the last meetings, we had town meetings, and right now, it kind of sounds like they won't merge, because Sitka community will expand there, and we will have our hospital. A&B and ANS co-hosted a reception for the school district and staff, and the A&B Founders Hall is always open to requests for the A&B ANS members for memorials, 40-day parties, potlatches for our clan, and these are all free of charge. Our camp also rents the hall 3 times a week to the Sitka tribes, and we rent out 3 of our officers upstairs. This enables us not to have to always fundraise, and we have an income for the hall, and we have a beautiful hall. And I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to report to you, and hope I can come back next year.
ANS Camp 4.
Gee, I was kind of hoping, since we didn't get called yesterday, that we wouldn't have to do this. Anyway, as Harriet already reported, we have our meetings out of the A&B Founders Hall, which was land owned by Kathy Ann. And so it's a very precious place to be able to function, and we are honored to be there. The Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners that Harriet referred to were founded 40 to 50 years ago by Isabella Brady and relatives of Harriet's. We have consistently had Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners there. It was started to help feed the fishermen who were on their boats in the harbor and had no place to go for a good Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. We now, because we deliver to the hospitals, to the police department, to the fire department, we serve about 400 people on those 2 days. Yes, it's a privilege to be able to do that, and it's looked forward to. A lot of our brothers and sisters help out for those, plus people from the community come in to help, because it's not just ours, it's a community activity. So that's very special. We marched in a number of parades. We've had fundraisers. We marched in the Elizabeth Paratrovich Day Parade, and we had a dance for Elizabeth Paratrovich Day thing. Yes, and the meal. And we had, it was really cool. We really enjoyed that. We marched in the Choose Respect March. Oh, I forgot to mention that Gary May, who did the classes for the professional managements of kitchen managers, cooked our meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that was a real treat for all of us. Our camp and also Camp 1 paid for a scholarship for a dual credit from the University of Alaska and Sitka High School for a Tlingit class for 2 of our students. We were in a class that I also attended at Sitka High. We were encouraging the students to continue with the culture and the language, and this was something that's also been incorporated into the resolution that we just did about languages in the school. We co-chaired town forums, and the SNEP program also met. The Sitka Education Program, which Isabella Brady began, was meeting on Wednesdays at the hall, and the Sisterhood sent a lobbyist to Juneau regarding the herring issue, this year. And we've also done a resolution regarding the herring issue. And Sitka has the last mackerel fishery in the state, and we're hoping that they will be more reasonable and that the Fish and Game will acknowledge the fact that all the other marine creatures, that's what they eat, and if they don't have it, we won't have them either. The fisheries in Southeast are very important, and we want to keep them going, but we want to have sustainable fisheries. So the herring issue is a biggie, and we're working on that as best we can. Thank you.
Sister Jean, could you introduce yourself, please, and state your account for the record?
My name is Jean Arnold. I'm the president of Sitka A&S Camp number 4.
Good exchange. And if Haynes Camp can stand by, the chair recognizes Sister Brensfield.
Debbie Brinsfield, Camp 4 Sitka. I just wanted to make a comment, if I could, about Brother Harriet's report. She reported that Carrie McLean and Karen Lucas chaired the community Thanksgiving Christmas dinner. In fact, it was myself, and I'll be doing it this year. Karen Lucas did do it 2 years ago, and I did it the year before that. So just a clarification of the minutes, if that's possible. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Haynes? Haynes Camp?
If you can please identify yourself or introduce yourself, thank you.
I am from Camp 5, Haynes. My name is Thomas Williams Jr. I would like to thank Grand Camp for the appreciation that they gave us last year. We really appreciate that, all the people that were in that battle. At this time, we have been extending or expanding and renovating our hall kitchen, which was in dire need for so many years. And we actually added a new dumbwaiter, a commercial dishwasher, new sinks, flooring, lighting, new paint on every wall. And it was funded in memory of Bob Dewis, and we really miss him. We also had a dedication sign made, it was requested by David Light for his son, and it was carved and signed and dedicated to the hall, Harriet J. Light. Other than that, we support the A&S for having all their bazaars and their bake sales, and we really love them. And the Baratovich Day that we support that. Our hall gets used so much for all the police parties and gatherings and drum classes, so we have been working on trying to make it a better place for everyone to come and use. I think that's about it, not very much, but I would also like to thank Camp 49 for having us here and feeding us and supporting us while we're here, giving us rides and staying up late, and I'm sure that we will keep you up late going back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A&S Haynes, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Carol Lewis, a member of Camp 5 ANS. Sonny is too modest. My husband passed away at the end of January, and he and Jim Ackerman and Randy Miner jumped into following my husband's sketch of how to remodel the hall. He and I had previously purchased the dumbwaiter and the sanitizer, and suddenly there they were, tearing things apart, replacing one bathroom so we could expand the kitchen. And unfortunately, the work came to a screeching halt the week of my husband's memorial, because a fire inspector came along and he said, "Oh, you don't have a Class K fire extinguisher. And when was the last time your fire suppressant system was checked?" But we got through. I rented the senior center, which is only 2 blocks from the hall, and the cooking was done there. The memorial was done at the A&B hall, and we are just, notice the crossed fingers, about to receive permission to finish the construction, which has been a boon to us, and the A&B gets the rents and will be able to rent it out for lots of things now that we have an almost, commercial grade kitchen there. I'm also proud to be a member of ANS because we donate at least $3,000 every year to local scholarships, both graduates and alums, and do a variety of other activities. Unfortunately, for our fundraising, my husband used to be the one who grilled the salmon for our summer salmon dates. So we only had one salmon date, but we have other bazaars. We also sponsor the alcohol-free New Year's Eve party. We loan the hall at no cost for fundraisers for the women's domestic shelter called Becky's Place, and a variety of other activities. So thank you very much.
Petersburg, ANS, A&B. Yes, the chair recognizes Executive, ANS Executive Committee Woman.
Please pardon me for just staying seated. Carol Lewis, would you carry our love to Sister who served as friend treasurer?
Okay.
Evelyn Fox, our love from sisters and brothers, and we wish her well, that we missed her this year.
Thank you so much, Sister. And if we are able to get the words from our Grand President Emeritus, I also have words from Evelyn Hodge to share with you, but thank you for that mention.
Thank you. Petersburg, ANS, A&B. A&B, Petersburg. They will be joining us together. If you could please introduce yourself to the delegation, thank you.
Joe Stewart, I'm ANBS President, AMB President. Camp 16.
I'm Barbara Erickson. I am President of ANS Camp 16, Petersburg. After we came home from our wonderful granny camp last year, we had meetings and we discussed what we were planning for this year. We had a harvest potluck with our Petersburg Indian Association members who were also in planning stages to see what our community needs as far as heating and arts and culture and education needs and elder needs. And we decided that we need to collaborate together with that organization as much as we can to keep the unity in our community. We hosted the Christmas annual dinner. We did our annual Christmas raffle. And in February, we hosted a chocolate cribbage tournament where we did a little bit more fundraising type activities. We also gave out one scholarship this year, and we have funds available for scholarships every year. We had an elders picnic at the A&B Hall. We participated in the 4th of July parade. We had fundraisers of a car wash, a fry bread sale, and 2 spaghetti dinner sales, which went very well. We had a memorial service for a non-member who had family members in the community that mattered, because it was a drug-related death, I believe. And Joe and I went with 2 Forest Service people from Petersburg over to the old native, well, not just native, but community cemetery on Kupernoff Island, where some of our native people were. And we outlined the boundaries of the cemetery, and we are in the making of plans to get some weed whackers, steel weed whackers over there, and some solution to help clean up the grave sites, gravestones, so we can possibly read who they are. There are 3 of the graves that have been exhumed and moved to our community Petersburg Cemetery. Ross did some drumming songs in honor of those members. I felt a very sacred connection to that land. And honestly, the exhuming of the bodies, the cemetery there, it bothered me greatly. And we did that, and we will continue working on that part of it with our senators and other assistants. We had nominations and elections, and we had 2 wave guests who became members at that meeting. And we are trying to grow our membership. We want to do some educational, informational activities this year to get more information into the public eye, to grow our membership. And we have pretty much the same officers that we did last year because our group is so small. But I would like to thank the Portland Grand Camp here and everything you've done to help us get here, and to all the camps who have assisted Petersburg, and all the members that are here, the ones that aren't here. My heart is with all of you a lot of the year. I think of you even though you're not present. There are many of you that I don't know real well personally, but I think of you and I love each and every one of you. Thank you.
ANS Seattle Camp 36.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Daphne Alves. I'm in Camp 36.
Concurs with
We
that.
had a difficult year this year. We held five memorial services. Love you. And so my mother, Johanna Kabwag, my aunt, Jackie Clark, my nephew, Jacob Kabwag III, and my cousin, Cecilia White Blake. And was there one more? I'm sorry. And I'm sorry.
Lucille.
I'm sorry. Did I say Cecilia? I meant Lucille White Blake. But with that, we also participated in the Elizabeth Bradovich Day along with the Clinton Haida. They are the ones that actually held the event. And our Grand President, Cecilia Tabalero, is part of our Camp 36, and she spoke there. There was another thing that you did.
The youth camp.
The youth camp, speaking at the youth camp. Thank you. So along with all the sadness in our, that happened with our camp, I'm here because I'm picking up my mother's, Dana, and I am continuing her work. She loves you. My father will be here later today, and as difficult as it is for him, he knows how much my mother loved it, and he is part of the Indian. He's been for quite a while. And he will be here also because it meant so much to my mother, and it meant so much to the whole family. With that, we have some good news, is that we have doubled our ANS membership this year. That's exciting. We also have a couple new members of the ANB. One of the things that we're working on, and thank you, I really do love hearing from everybody else for all your wonderful ideas. One of the things that we are going to be working on this upcoming year is working with the ANB and having Robert's Rules of Order classes. There's a lot of us in the ANS and ANB that are also members of the Clinton Haida. They're going through the Tribal Assembly and delegates. So Robert's Rules comes in pretty handy everywhere. Another thing we're going to be working on is gathering clothing items for the homeless, and we're also considering helping with some of the preschools and working with some of the native preschools to see what we can do to help them. But thank you so much for all your wonderful ideas. I wish we were able to have 20 minutes as a fundraiser. Community home. Places to meet, that would be wonderful. It's a little harder in the Seattle area as it is here in Portland. So thank you so much, and I would also like to extend my gratitude to Camp 49 for the wonderful work that you've been doing. So thank you.
Ganeshish. ANB, Columbia River, Camp 49. If our ANS fundraising committees can stand by, we will have fundraising on the floor during our 20-minute break after President Gurko's report.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to ask permission to have as many of ANB Camp 49 members be escorted up front with me as well. We didn't have the opportunity yesterday to share a little bit about our camp. Would this be the appropriate time to take a few minutes? I want to respect the schedule.
I believe so, if there's no objection.
Would you like me to call them forward with them on the microphone, or would you?
Please do, if you could call them forward, and our available Grand Sergeant of Arms, if you could escort them.
Many of them are in the boiler room. Our youth representative, Eva, if you could go grab whoever is available. Thank you. So all of our Camp 49 members who can, please come forward.
And President Gurko, if you could please introduce yourself. Thank you. And your camp.
We have two more members who need to be escorted to the front of the conference. Heather Gergel, Shahak Key. I'm honored to serve as the AMB Camp 49 president. I have an amazing group of people that I'm honored to walk with every day. And I say every day because for these last 8 months we have been in constant communication. So the group here is very active and very busy. So on the end we have Renee Perry, we have Tamsin Wynn, Ken Logue and his beautiful wife Juanita, she's not here today, Rochelle Williamson, my personal very special man, Sean Gerko. Frank Albee, as we all know, is our camp founder, and his beautiful bride, who she calls her, which we love, Rosa Albee, is our camp mother, and she's in the lobby. B. Collins, and myself. Michaela Taylor, Jill Shepard Erickson, our youth representative, Eva Angus, and our young man, Aaron Stratton. Many of these members, oh, I'm sorry, and also Corin Atkinson, who is our newest lawyer of AMB Camp 49. He just passed his bar exam. So our camp was very honored when we received the phone call. We had some discussion in Juneau about possibly hosting this year's convention, and we thought, well, we need to plan, and I don't know if we're ready at this point. But we received the call, and here we are.
Throughout the year, we have been very busy with the planning process. In that, we've built many partnerships, one of which is the Portland State University, which is graciously supporting us at this convention. So Ganesh Chief, Portland State University. We're also building a partnership with Portland Community College through our member, Renee Perry, who is their Native Nations coordinator. Also, we have been doing meetings every month, actually quite a few committee meetings a month. We continue our Haida Cheyenne outreach project to our homeless community here in Portland. I'm not sure how many of you have been able to be out in Portland yet, but we have a very severe crisis here in Portland. And so our outreach efforts are going to continue to work with them, support them. We do have a very large population of Alaska Native and American Indian homeless people here in Portland as well. So our hope is to offer them a sense of comfort with our outreach bags. Also, right now I wanted to share with you, through the planning process, our ANS Grand President Cecilia Tabulero, along with our ANS First Vice President Paulette Marino, came to Portland in June. During that visit, we had a great time. We went to the Delta Park powwow. We sang and we danced together. They addressed a couple thousand people actually at the powwow, and talked about the great works of AMB and ANS. So Ganesh Chief for coming to Portland. And I'm sorry, and Harriet Valil was here as well as Jesse Cook. So thank you. And the reason I bring that up in this and tying it together with the homeless outreach, in that time that we had the honor of sharing conversations with our ANS Grand President and ANS First Vice President, we discussed the homeless population in Portland and how we can support our community members. And I want to say a very special bonus chief to ANS First Vice President Paulette Marino. She inspired a conversation that actually has started to bear its fruit. We are in the process, our camp mother and our founder, Frank Albee, of creating a healing road that we will be using in our outreach efforts in the community. So the purpose of the healing road is very similar to what Sea Alaska uses, but we'll be using it in our, Search uses, but we'll be using it in our homeless outreach, our community outreach. We'll be using it in our foster care outreach, our education outreach that we plan to expand to. We recognize that here in Portland and anywhere outside of Alaska, there's such a gap in cultural connection. We all, in front of you, and I'm sure many of you have experienced just that gap, and it's hard for us to connect in with culture being so far away. So having this road to wrap around a person who's in a time of crisis or maybe at a moment where they have no hope, to give them that wrap around them with a prayer, to give them maybe that little boost that they need to continue whatever path it is they need to go on for healing. So that will be our charge this year. We also plan, as I mentioned, the children, we also are going to be making a healing road for the children. So we'll have the size appropriate robe to use that outreach. So Ganesh Tish to Frank, Albie, and Rosa for their hard work on that robe. And we wanted it to be here today, but you know, we've been planning this little thing called convention, and it just didn't happen to be completed. So we have been very busy though. I wanted to announce and introduce again Eva Angus. Eva Angus is our first AMB Camp 49 youth representative. We do have quite a few junior members, but all of our junior members are under the age of 12 and under. So, you know, I don't know if they could do everything that Eva's been doing here today. So this week she's been running around and really helping with Kelsey and Charlie. So thank you, Eva.
And she's single.
Oh, and as Frank said, she's single. Her parents might not be hearing us announce that. So Eva and I had a wonderful discussion when we were on Canoe Journey in Canada. She's part of the Portland All Nations Canoe family, as many of us here are. And we had the opportunity to talk about AMB and ANS and what has been in the past and what it is today, and really what we're looking at for the future. And so for Camp 49, Eva is that beacon of light for our camp. We've had great conversations around what would you see and what would you envision in the future. And I hope you'll be here tomorrow. She'll be on our panel, as well as Ginger McCormick, who's busy preparing lunch over at the center. So thank you, Eva. We have an active Facebook page, which many of you are participating in, and thank you. I see your thumbs up and your likes and your comments, so thank you for that. We also, at our last meeting, decided to start the paperwork process for Frank and Rosa Albie to be our first AMB Camp 49 lifetime members. So we are in the process of completing paperwork, and again, we wanted to have that before convention, but we didn't have the opportunity. But we want to recognize Frank and Rosa's efforts through the many years. Even through just the 8 years here at AMB Camp 49, they're a very young camp, but they've been very involved with AMB and ANS for many years prior to Portland. So thank you, Frank and Rosa, for your guidance. We also established AMB Camp 49 Foundation, which is our 501c3. So now we operate as AMB Camp 49 Foundation as a 501c3 and AMB Camp 49 as a 501c4. We've had great guidance by our vice president. He's not here today. His name is Vincent Reinhardt. Many of you may know his family. So he'll be here tomorrow. He just had to travel for business. Many up here also were very much a part and still are a part of our Alaska Native PDX culture group. So I had discussed earlier the gap that we have sometimes when we talk about culture, and I could go into all those reasons, but many of you know why that's there. And people that I've connected with here in Portland throughout the years, we've experienced many of the same things. We want to connect with culture, but we just don't know how. We have aunties, uncles, grandparents, parents in Alaska, but being here in Portland, there's only so much you can do over the phone. There's only so much you can do, you know, on YouTube videos. So we have a very active group, and we have been meeting pretty much every Saturday since February, working on regalia. We've been learning to drum. We're teaching ourselves to sing. We're not only Tlingit Haida, we have Inupiat, Yak, Yupik. We also have Athabascan, of course, B, who is Laguna Pueblo. Who am I forgetting? And Juanita is Salish Kootenai, Nez Perce, Umatilla, Shoshone Bannock. So we have a wide variety of people who come together in the spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. So I'm so grateful that we have that. And with that group, we've actually had quite a few performances. And we sing one song, and you'll hear it tomorrow. Oh, actually, now we sing 2 songs. But we would love for all of you to help support us in proper pronunciation and singing of Suhede. So we've been singing it, and please offer corrections and support because we have been doing it publicly and we'll continue it. And we do an entrance song. That's what we do, and that's about all we can do. But we also are doing a Haida song now from Sandra Segundo, who's allowed us and given us permission to use her song. So we'll be sharing that tomorrow. Oh, that's tonight. We also have our Christmas party every year, which brings in a lot of community members and the children, and we have our native Santa, Mr. Frank Albee, since there's no children here. Last year I think he had what are those people, the big bearded people? He had a very interesting beard for Santa last year. In my notes, I apologize. I did mention the Portland All Nations Canoe Family, and they're going to be here tonight, many of our members. We will be having a Anishinaabe drum, right? And it's a stand drum. I don't know if that's proper.
The name of how we name the drum, that's called standing drum.
It's not a hand drum. So we will be asking of the men tonight at the hall to participate and drum along with our canoe family on the drum that I don't know the name of. The big drum. There we go. We'll call it the big drum. So I just wanted to offer Frank an opportunity to say something. You know, I want to really thank Frank and Rosa again. Would it be okay if we asked the ANS Sergeant at Arms to grab Rosa really quick? I'm sorry. I apologize. Please escort her. She's in the hall at the vendor.
Thank you.
Thank you for that correction. Would anybody else like to say anything briefly while we're... Okay, here, I'll give you to Kayla.
I just wanted to thank Andy, Camp 49, especially Heather and Ginger for this opportunity, and also for our culture group that meets. Previously, a lot of us, we participate in the Native cultures down here, the powwows, we work at various Native organizations, and a lot of them focus on Native cultures in the lower 48. So, it's like every day we have more Alaska Natives coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, I'm down here too, I want to participate. So it's really awesome to have that opportunity. And Ginger, who again is helping prepare lunch, and Heather were really instrumental in providing the space and the ability for us to all do that. So without that, we would not have that ability. And yeah, and I probably wouldn't be an A&B if I hadn't done that. So yeah, I'm really thankful.
Before I hand over the microphone, I just wanted to also say thank you to ANS Camp 2. We have a community here who, they aren't all part of AMB and ANS, and I've continued this conversation with them, who are Alaska Natives. And we find people who have community members or parents or grandparents in Alaska. And there's a very special woman who is in Juneau that Rhonda and other ANS Camp 2 members have gone to visit. We went in Wrangell and also visited her when she was there in a care facility. So I want to thank you for, on behalf of Dina Whitney, for visiting her grandma and continuing to have that effort to make sure she's not alone. So that is Chief. You're very welcome.
Thank you so very much for recognizing us. My name is Frank Albee. I'm a Nupiat Inuit from Nome, Alaska. My wife, Rosa, is from Heidelberg. We met at Cheryl Jackson 60-some years ago. We celebrated our 60th anniversary last month. So we're just so happy to see that Grand Camp, has recognized Portland Columbia River Camp 49, and we offered to do it, and they took us up on the offer, and we didn't know how much work at the time it was going to be, but you're here, and we're very happy, and we welcome all of you.
He speaks for me.
And we'll be talking a little bit more at lunchtime today, so thank you all very much for your kindness.
I want to leave you with one last moment here really quick. We have been growing here in Portland since 2009. As I mentioned, we are a very young camp. I think we're in our 9th year now. So in that time, we have been building our membership and building the interest in A&B Camp 49 as well as A&B and ANS in general. So with the leadership of our Future Leaders meeting today, we are happy to announce that we are starting the process of forming A&B Camp 49, or excuse me, as a habit, ANS Columbia River Camp 49. And once again, Ganesh Chish, thank you for coming. It means a lot to us to see your faces.
Thank you, the executive committee women. If the Camp 49 can stay, the executive committee women.
Ganesh Chish. We're waiting for our executive members to join us.
While we're waiting, I just want to also recognize Bee Collins, who is a dear family friend of mine and my sister's. Bee has been Camp 70, but is also, I know, a very welcome addition to Camp 49. And so we just love Bee and really love her camp. Thank you.
May I ask the executive committee to please take a moment. Well, there are many people here that want to donate.
Yes.
And please come forward when you want to donate with the executive committee to do this honor to Camp 49. So the floor is open. I'm going down, and we'll pause for a few minutes.
We would like everybody to join us. This is our honor song that we sing when we appreciate what somebody has done for us. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. On behalf of Grand Camp, our deep appreciation for taking on this task when you were called upon. And it has given us a privilege to be here on the land of your people and the tribes that are here, and to see family that we hadn't seen for years, and friends, and all the new friends that we have made. The young man at the end, I just found out today, is the family. He is Benny James's grandson. We are so proud of you carrying on the legacy of the A&B. I will turn the microphone over to ANS Exec Committee member, Mary Guthrie.
George and Maggie James were his great-grandfathers and mothers. And Benny James is his grandfather. And you may have noticed, he has one of the old-time Kugenas on, 1929 Kugena. Benny is here with us in that Kugena. So the line hasn't broken in Maggie and George James. What is your name?
Aaron.
Aaron? Aaron is his name. Thank you for wearing that and holding the flag up. It will not touch the ground because of people like you, brothers and sisters. Thank you. Oh, and this is his mom, Tammy. I'm sorry. Tammy is the daughter of Benny James, and we acknowledge here in Portland Camp, we are so pleased to have. I saw that Kugena walk by me, and I almost fell off my chair. That's the style of Kugena. That's the Kugenas they wore. When somebody said, "This is your land, why don't you fight for it?" Now we know this is our land and we will fight for it. Thank you, Mary.
Oh, if you'll talk to the mic. This is always so much fun. Frank, because he's been the founder of Camp Columbia 49, we would like to present this to you for your camp. A total collected this morning of $659. With our love and appreciation. Please call up.
Thank you for that beautiful, heartfelt presentation. At this time, we will go into recess. However, we have a 20-minute A&S fundraising time allowed. So our second Grand Vice President, Sandy Churchill, if you could come forward, please. And when we reconvene, we will hear from A&S Camp 19 and receive an update on credentials. Share clarification. Thank you. Okay, the chair recognizes President Gurko and Rhonda.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention we also have received $350 from two other camps as a donation. So Ganesh Chish, I believe it was Camp 70 and 16. So Ganesh Chish.
Thank you.
If we could, thank you. Okay, thank you. So this is our second Grand Vice President pro term right now, Sandy Churchill. She is in charge of the fundraising. There's some very beautiful things. I'm gonna let her speak right now. This is our A&S 20-minute fundraising on the floor. So this is the time to help support. Thank you again. Sandy? Geez. Yes.